And our speaker today, Roy Maurer, is going to elaborate on exactly what Nicole brought up, fear and love. Because Roy happens to be the teacher on Mondays at 10:30, right here. You're all welcome to go deep dive into this. And what this is a course of love. And that follows on the tail. It's channeled through Jesus. I'm forgetting her name. Roy can mention it. A woman in Minnesota, I believe. Of course. Susan is from, we are from Minnesota. We did not channel the Book of Love. We wished we had. Nicole is doing some channeling on us right now as well. But it follows on a course of miracles, which came about in 1970. Correct me, something.
Six.
What?
76.
1976. Wow. Well, that's interesting. I personally I traveled to Findhorn in Scotland, and that's where I was first introduced to the Course of Miracles. I don't know if you knew that. And then I quickly put it on the shelf and let it be for years. But we have the exciting opportunity to hear from Roy, and I just want to share a little bit about his background before he gets up here. Roy went to college at Ursinus. And his background was, he was a very good churchgoer. And what did you tell me, Roy? You went to church. In UCC. He is a local boy here. He's from Chalfont, right down the road. So he went to Ursinus. It's where he met his wife. You told me 39, is it? 38, you said 38. 38 years Roy has been married and learning a lot of lessons. Because what we get in our Monday groups is we always get our lessons from our partners. If there's anybody that disagrees with that, be glad to hear about that. But usually the lessons come right there. Roy, I asked Roy, we ask each other, when is your awakening? What got you into the spiritual path, other than perhaps going to church or Catholic church for a lot of recovering Catholics here? What got you to do it? And for Roy, one of the steps was he was involved in AA, because he asked the question, there's got to be a better way. And AA really started him out on his path. And then he found the Course of Miracles. I know somebody who's a leader for me in another sense, she said the book just fell off the shelf. I'm not sure you can share how you found the book. And I first met Roy here. We had Course of Miracles in this room for many years. Right now, it's only on Zoom on Tuesdays with Gail Delsey, who's an amazing teacher. She was a professor of literature at Immaculata. I think it's not Immaculata. Gwen and Mercy. I'm getting it right. Gwen and Mercy. And she really brings a linguistic background into it. But we're not focusing on today. We're going into the Course of Love, which is much easier to read and digest. So, Roy, without further ado, come up and please share your insights.
Thanks, Suzanne. I really didn't plan this because I've learned that somebody has a lot better ideas than I do about what to say. And kind of this morning at breakfast, last night at dinner, some thoughts were going through my head. And I said, thank you, but I don't think I need this right now. And I'm sitting here being blown away by Nicole, who just happened to substitute as seed. Chloe was, as far as I knew, was going to be the seed. And you were a better lead in to what I want to say, what I think I'm going to say, than I could have dreamed. All that Suzanne said is true. Course of Miracles, Course of Love, spiritual studies, but and I'll probably talk about those things. But what I really, well, let me just say what I put in this. Let me back up a step. I'm just too excited. Need to take a breath. What I really wanted to say to begin is I love you. And some of you saying, Roy, you don't even know me. Yeah, I do. It's one of the many gifts of this journey. Not all the time. Me and Jesus are working on it, and Holy Spirit. But in a moment like this, I know you. I see the love that you are. You might not even be recognizing it about yourself, but I know the truth. I feel the truth. So as I learn to allow this guidance to come direct me, there's many ways. I'm so in love with what you shared, Nicole, because there seems to be this disease in this body whose symptoms have just radically changed my life. And this taught me so much. Sometimes I don't appreciate them. More often than not now, though, I do appreciate them because it's a reminder that I'm not in my right mind. How can I suffer when I'm in the truth of who I am? A rhetorical question. The answer is I can't. So if I'm experiencing something that is less than peace and joy and love, I cannot be in my right mind. And I walk through the world not noticing that most of the time. And then this disease stepped in and said, let me jolt you a little. And when I first experienced it as getting more intense, couldn't work anymore. I've been considered disabled for like 8 or 9 years now. And every morning I'd get up and I'd pray the way I knew how to pray then, which was, I call it asking for specifics. Holy Spirit. Now, I've been studying the Course in Miracles for a while, and I kind of been starting to talk to Holy Spirit, journaling with Holy Spirit every morning. Holy Spirit, I'm hearing about this kind of doctor. Should I try this kind of doctor? Holy Spirit, I've been hearing about these supplements. Should I try these supplements? Holy Spirit, I've been hearing about this alternative medicine. Should I do acupuncture? Should I try homeopathy? Every morning I'm asking. I don't want to overwhelm them. So I'm just asking them one at a time. Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? That lasted about 6 months. And I was pissed because I'm not getting any answers. That's what I thought was happening. The answers were there. They were just no. But I was brought up, we don't get angry. That's good. Little boys don't get angry. Grown-up boys don't get angry. But one morning I couldn't meditate. I couldn't get to a place of peace to talk to Spirit because I was so angry that I'm not getting any help. Is everything I read and studied BS? Like, where are you? And so out of that place of anger, I said, why the hell do I have to suffer like this? And I felt so much love. And I felt laughter. It was such lightness. I felt laughter and everything fell away. And this one clear thought came in. Who said you have to suffer? And I knew the answer right away. Me. This body has a disease. I chose suffering. Fear or love? I chose fear. I'm coming from a place of fear. I'm afraid I'm never going to this again. I'm never going to that again. My life's going to be terrible. And I'd been studying A Course in Miracles, and I wanted to get deeper into it, but I'm so busy. Got an important job. Well, I had an important job. I thought it was important. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I have a house to take care of. I have all these important things to do. That's what's going into my mind. And after that, who said you had to suffer? It's my choice. Came another question, another thought. And I thought you wanted to spend more time with me. That was my greatest desire. To have more time to grow spiritually, to get to know this God that I don't understand. That's what I really wanted. But I'm just so busy with important things, don't you know? And now I can't work. And now I'm having difficulty doing things around the house. And all of a sudden, all I have is time. Okay. Okay. So, that's where the journey took. We all have those seemingly bigger moments. And the growth began because I have all this time now. If I want to wake up in the morning and meditate for an hour and a half, I won't have a job to get to. Isn't this fantastic? And I started journaling in the morning with Holy Spirit. I don't know why, but I journal with Holy Spirit. I talk to Jesus. And if you want a friend to take you through this, I want you to know Jesus is really cool. He's amazing. The Jesus I learned about in Sunday school and the churches that I went to, the church I went to, was loving and kind. But he's the Son of God. He wasn't really approachable to me until he was. And I just started talking to him. And I learned, Holy Spirit, Jesus, whatever name you want to give, that's all. The information's always coming. I just got this little voice going all the time that I'm giving my attention to. And I learned that that was a choice. That's one of the things Course in Miracles taught me. I have a choice. I just thought I was stuck with this life in the way it is. No, I have a choice. I can choose suffering, or I can choose love and joy and peace. I just wasn't sure how to do that. So I started asking more questions. I started talking. And one of the things that I learned was, I don't know the questions. I don't know what to ask. We could go back to my list of 6 months of asking specific questions every day. And I'm trying to tone that down a bit. And as I got to understand, I got to a place of just a couple of questions. What would you have me see? It's a universal question. Pissed off at your spouse? What would you have me see? Through my anger, I can see the love that I still have for her. And the more I asked that question, the easier it got to see. And now, most of the time, I don't even have to ask. I just know the truth of who she is. She is the perfect extension of love in this world, just like me, just like you. And if I'm not seeing that right now, that's okay, but it's just my mistake. It's got nothing to do with you. It's got nothing to do with her. You don't have to believe me. But what I invite you to do is try it. Try listening. I heard a speaker at a Course in Miracles conference one time. Her whole thing was the pause. The pause. Her whole ministry is, if you just in the middle of that upset, it's hard. But if you just pause, we all know how to take a deep breath. You start to hear. Not all the time. It doesn't happen for me all the time. But I so love standing here and telling you this message because one of the first times that it was so clear and so powerful for me was sitting in this room on a Tuesday morning with Gail Dulcie, who's just, I got goosebumps. She is an amazing Course in Miracles teacher. I love her. There's a moment I'm not sure I was loving her because she said one morning, she had, she's working on her PhD. She has some challenges with health issues with people in her family, and she's had a lot going on. And she's hitting the brakes, and she's going on sabbatical. She was teaching this and another, maybe two Course in Miracles class. All these things, she's just stopping everything and giving 100% of her attention to loving her family, supporting her family for now. And while she's gone, Roy is going to lead this group. And Ego went, for non-course students, Ego is what we call that little insane voice that we listen to almost all the time, that thinks it's separate from God and therefore lives in a world of fear and thinks only from fear. Ego said, what? Well, first of all, lady, it would have been nice if you had talked to me before you talk to somebody, before you turn over a class to them. You don't do that. And she's a teacher. She had a career of teaching, and she's working on her PhD in teaching. And she knows the course like nobody I've ever met. I cannot step into those shoes. And I start feeling the discomfort, the fear, the anger, the anxiety. I start feeling it. And I took a breath. And I went, okay. And I felt comfort and ease when I said that. And the little voice is going, okay. And then I pulled up here. I came early next Tuesday because I knew what to do, which is to know that I don't know what to do. I have no idea how to teach a Course in Miracles class. No idea. And, I'm sure Egos, I went online and watching people on YouTube teaching classes and stuff. And all I was doing was getting more agitated, more afraid. And, well, what worked last time? What worked anytime I found peace? I pulled up out front and I just sat outside for 5 minutes and I meditated for a couple minutes. And I said one of my favorite prayers that I invented that day. Holy Spirit, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, but I know you do. This is yours. Please just take it. And I came in and I led the group without planning or preparation, and it was fantastic. I know about the experience of other people, but it was fantastic for me. And I did that for a few months. And it was fantastic. And people loved coming to it. And we had a great experience. I never prepared for one of those classes. I just said, Holy Spirit, hold a second. Maybe this is how I'm supposed to be living my life. Maybe all those pages of complex stuff in Course in Miracles. I mean, that's what it was saying. So that's from the parable of Roy. An experience I had in my life and a lesson I learned. Trust him, let him guide you, and amazing things happen. Now, I want to tell you, I walked into that first class terrified. Probably the second, third, and fourth one too. But eventually, I started trusting, really trusting, you've got me. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So I started applying those things to these practices to my life. What would you have me see? What would you have me do? The answer, the reason I couldn't hear the answer a lot of time, because the answer I learned is often, That's what Spirit, Jesus, God, whatever wants me to do. It's just trust me. I got this. And as I practice this, as I get used to doing it more, it was self-teaching. I start learning. It all comes down to yeses and nos a lot of the time. Is it a yes or is it a no? And I started learning what that guidance feels like. Not thinking about it anymore, but just feeling a yes, feeling a no. And a couple of months ago, a thought came in, and it was just like, it wasn't words, but in words, it was, you're going to speak. Okay. No questions. I don't have to know all the details. I don't have to ask. I know I'm not getting them because I'm not, in that moment, I wasn't ready. So, like, a few weeks ago, when Suzanne said, "Can you speak on Sunday?" There it is. Yes. There's nothing to think about. There's nothing to consider. No, why should I or shouldn't I? It feels like a yes. It feels like a yes. But it can also be beautifully conversational. So one of the things that this dis-ease seemed to take away from me was I love driving high performance cars. I love it. I used to do a little racing. Love that. But I had retired from racing because I couldn't anymore. The body didn't have the energy. The mind gets confused pretty easy now, particularly later in the afternoon and the evening, and races are at night. And I knew by the time I got on the track, I wouldn't know what the heck I'm doing. And that's a bad idea in a race car. It's a terrible idea. That's one of the things that got me out of racing in the first place. I went out on the track one last time when I thought maybe I could, and as soon as the green flag dropped, I was like, whoa, this is terrifying. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I just pulled off and went home. But I had this series of events that was, I love to tell the story, but not time for it now. Just one thing after another, one step, until it became so clear I'm buying a race car again. And I'm going, okay, like it's so clear, okay, but what are you doing? These are the conversations I have in Spirit and Jesus. Like, I trust you, but what are you actually doing right now? Like, am I going to get better? I don't know what's going to happen. It took me over 2 years to get that race car that needed a few days work ready for the track. Very little at the time. I just couldn't. But I ended up back on the track, and I raced like 2 or 3 times, just had a blast, because every moment I was like, this is a gift. On my own, in my little self that believes in fear and limitation, I would have never tried this again. But I'm out there and I'm having a blast. But I'm going through a period where symptoms seem to be increasing and I'm not sure. And I'm talking to Jesus. And I'm talking to Holy Spirit. And I'm getting all these vague answers like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, should I go? Like, is this a good idea? Well, I don't know. Why don't you just load the car up and we'll see? I'm like, that's a lot of work and money. But okay. So I went to my son, who's 32 now, a couple of years before, and he was never into racing. Neither of my kids were. And I said, I got to ask you a favor. I want to go to the track, but I can't get the car on and off, get it ready to change tire. I just can't by myself. Can you give me a hand? He said, sure, Dad. I'd love to do that. And driving the hour and a half to the speedway, we just had the most amazing bonding experience, like taking our relationship further. Just the conversation, the connectedness. And I thought, if this is it, it was worth it. because I just never know. It's all above my pay grade. I'm just going along for the ride. I'd never know. And I went out for, I think I'm okay. I think. And I go out for warm-ups. Okay. Not comfortable, but okay. And I'm asking, like, should I go out? Should I race? Should I race? And it just felt like it would just seem like a maybe. It wasn't a yes or a no. I'm like, so I got in the car, and it was an 8-lap heat race, and we ran 4 laps, and I'm just kind of following everybody around because I don't really, okay, but I don't really trust myself to get in up against somebody else. And there's a yellow flag, and during the yellow flag on the speedway in the race car, I'm like, all right, Jesus. I'm not going to ask a yes or no question. I'm not going to ask a specific question. What do you want me to do? And there comes that feeling of lightness, this unbelievable joy. And I get, let's have fun. That's a great answer, Jesus. That's a great answer. And I drove my butt off for the next 4 laps. And I come in, and my son is juiced. He's out of his mind excited. He doesn't know what happened, but he knows something happened. He saw me following the pack around, and then he saw me racing. And we made some adjustments on the car, and I went back out, and I just had the time of my life. And when I pulled in, I was so drained and so exhausted, and just mentally and physically. And my son comes up the car. He's all excited. I can't believe he never watched a race in his life. He's stoked. And we talk, we're all excited. And he says, Dad, we should get you out of the car while we still can. Because, I'm in the racing seat, and you got to climb out the window and stuff. And he helped me out. So to me, the lesson of that parable is it's not just about my awakening. It's not just about my growth. God, Spirit, Jesus, they want you to have fun. They want you to enjoy the journey. You're allowed to. So many times, I look back in my life, so many times I didn't give myself permission to have fun because I didn't know we were really allowed to. That one of my greatest missions in life was to learn what is God's will for me. And I know today it's joy. God's will for me is joy. If you have kids, what do you want? You want them to be happy. You want them to be safe, but you want them to be happy. Like God could be a lesser parent than I could, than you could. It's about love. It's about joy. It's about peace. How do I get there? I'm learning to listen. And I go back. This is so cool. One of the things that happens with my experience with this disease is there is some medication that helps ease discomforts, but the side effect is I wake up the next morning with pretty strong anxiety. And I woke up 2 hours before I'm usually not awake now. I woke up 2 hours before my alarm clock. I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning, and just the steel bands around my chest. And the first thought is often, I don't want to do this again. And then the next thought is, yes, I do. Because the big lesson from this disease is acceptance. When I just accept it as it is, I can do it. Even when it's intense, a lot of the time, I can do this with help. But I sat up this morning and thought, I don't want to do this. Oh, hold a second. But I know what to do. I know who to talk to. And I went downstairs and I got on my computer, Holy Spirit. And the biggest journaling that I've done, a lot of mine lately has been like quick answers, which I'm loving. But the biggest journaling I've done happened this morning. And, many minutes, whatever, I don't know, 5, 10, 15, whatever it was later, I'm at ease again. And then the voice starts thinking, okay, yeah, but what are you going to say today? And it's like, shh. Be fine. It's going to be perfect. It's going to be amazing. There's an expression in AA, beyond your wildest dreams. And they're talking about when you get to know God through the 12 steps. And I just think that's a clever expression. My life is beyond my wildest dreams today. There are challenges. Vanessa seemed to be an imperfect being last night. But instead of engaging, I took a breath and I just walk away, and I just walked away. And I went and sat in another room, and I sat on a comfortable chair for like 15 minutes. Talked to Spirit, talked to Jesus. They're like, you love her. She is the presence of the love in the world for you. And if you're not seeing that, that's something that you've put up in between her. I'm like, oh, but those insane thoughts that I'm having right now about her, yeah, those given to me. Okay. So I do like that. I was asked to pick a couple of songs for today, and I thought, I don't know any like spiritual songs. Don't. But it was a yes. So I said yes. I went, huh. Okay. What do you got for me? 2 days later, I hear the Youngbloods on the radio. Love is but a song we sing. Fear is how we die. That's one. We don't have to play it here. That's it. Let it be light. Just sing the song of love, even if just in your mind, in your heart. But know that what's killing me is fear. And fear all comes from that insane little voice, which, by the way, is what started me on the Course in Miracles. I was looking for the next. My Christian journey was fantastic. I was looking for the next thing. I knew there was something I didn't know what it was, and I took that book off my daughter's shelf. It was given to her at her christening, and I read that this whole world is upside down and insane. That's your problem with it. Yeah. This is all crazy. It's all craziness. Got to ask for somebody to show me a better way, a different way to see it. And it's all good. I love you all. Thank you.